Attack on Titan. An anime so big and influential that it needs no introduction. At this point in time, it's not just an anime, it's become a whole cultural phenomenon. You'll be hard pressed to find an anime fan or a weeb who hasn't watched or at least heard of the anime or the manga. And every time something reaches such global popularity, you'll always have big corporations come in and make as much money as they can. As a result, we have these 2 live actions and a 3-episode miniseries. A lot of people on the internet have really mixed feelings about this. Some consider it to be an absolute disgrace and think the live action couldn't even hold a candle to the anime or the manga, and some consider it to be better than the anime or the manga itself. And I think both opinions are valid in their own right. And as an 18-year-old with a lot of time on his hands, let's try to get an objective answer to this question.
I'm gonna see a woman, she's fucking another man.
The movie starts off with this really fitting music. I'm no music expert, but the movie was able to grab my attention with its music. It has this air of mystery and uncertainty around it, which in my opinion is the best way to describe Attack on Titan. Then there's this animated sequence that starts playing, and that's where my problem with this movie starts. They show people actually building the walls. It takes you out of the mystery of the walls when you're not given the time to think for yourself, but rather shown the entire process. The movie suffers from the show not tell concept. It's used in the anime as well, but the main story of Attack on Titan is much more tell not show, at least until the 4th season. There's a lot of things that the anime is able to convince the viewer as the truth, like Bertold and Reiner's backstory.
Yo, what up, guys? I'm with my boys Bertolt and Rainier. They're talking about destroying some walls, but I don't know what they're saying. They're probably just joking.
Destruction of the entire world, Grisha's apparent cruelty. I could go on and on. The funny thing is, they actually show one of the Titans breaking the built wall. We're introduced to the new setting of the story, and it's called Mosin. And again, props to the creator because the whole town looks robust and alive, filled with real people, and most of them are doing their own thing. We follow Armin looking for Eren, and again, there's a well-placed foreshadowing element. It was really going well until they introduced Eren standing on a literal bomb. One, Eren is fucking stupid and tries to scare his own friends. And the other is that I've watched both the movies and there is no logical reason for the bomb to be here. It's just written for plot convenience. After Eren is done monologuing about how he wants to travel outside the walls and see the world, the team discovers the drawing of an ocean on the bomb and decide to climb the walls. And then this happens. They absolutely butcher this scene. It's like if Walter started cooking meth because of his lung cancer and the show never brings it up again. It's like that, but the scene could have been used for much better character development. The scarf is just a regular gift instead of being a comfort symbol of trust and protection. Some of the guards find the trio and Eren handles all of them while Mikasa is pretending to be a damsel in distress rather than being the muscle of the group. Next, we're introduced to Mr. Soda, who I think is supposed to be a replacement for Hans. While they were talking about how this guy wanted to marry Eren's mom, the Colossal Titan appears. A lot of online consensus was that the IRL Titans look really good. I understand how having these ginormous humanoid creatures might be a bit creepy, but to me, their constant laughing and grunting makes it a lot more funnier than it should have been. This is where there's another major change in the live action. They kill Mikasa. You know what, I'd actually be happy if they would have done that. It would have been kind of a red herring, but no, they just used the Smiling Titan and suggest that Mikasa might have been dead. I have several complaints with this scene. One, they could have easily replaced Mikasa with Eren's mom. This scene with Carla is iconic and the reason Eren hates the Titans in the first place. His motive for the movie is not that strong. I don't like how they changed Carla's death scene. The scene holds such massive significance both in the anime and the manga. But in the film, it just lacked the impact when Mikasa died. The death of an important side character makes the motivation of the main character much more believable and strong. But Mikasa's death did not have a devastating emotional impact with both Eren or the viewer. They could have easily changed the screenplay to make it match the original. They were clearly able to hire child actors and they had the Smiling Titan. So I really don't understand why they bothered changing it. Third, it just ruins the iconic but poetic scene of Grisha's first wife eating his second. The movie just does not stop there. When the whole Mikasa's death scene was happening, Eren was trapped in a small house with a bunch of people. But when he comes out, a ton of Titans break the roof and kill everyone inside. But Eren escapes even without a single scratch on his body. How did he escape? How did he do that? Maybe all the Titans just ignored him. After a 2-year time skip, Eren is now in the Survey Corps along with Armin. They have a new commander. Both Eren and Pixis are not included in the movie, which is a real shame in my opinion, considering Pixis was one of my favorite characters in the whole series. Rest in peace, man. Hanji's name has been changed to Hans, and I gotta be honest, they're probably the only well-handled character in the movie. A lot of viewers might find the behavior a bit strange, or dare I say, cringe, but that's what happens when you try to integrate anime character with real people. There's this brief scene of all the families telling their goodbyes to the members of the Survey Corps, but you still don't know who these characters are, making the whole scene feel pretty useless. They make a simple plan to destroy the top portion of the wall to close the hole made by the Colossal Titan. It's a pretty neat plan because unlike the anime, they still don't know about Eren's powers and can't use him to plug the wall. And oh my god, Sasha can't stop eating potatoes.
You're misinterpreting the competition. It's Master Chef, not Master Bait.
Not just in this movie, but in the second and the miniseries as well. Trust me, I get what they were going for. But there comes a point when you realize that Sasha has more scenes of her eating than doing something useful. Also Armin, though he's not the blonde-haired crybaby that we all love, he too is handled pretty well. He has scenes which feel completely out of place for him, but overall, he's a really well-written character. To get to Mosen, they're using trucks. Yes, trucks. I genuinely have a question. What are these trucks running on? The fuel is not that important, right? When they hear something, all of them start shining their fancy lights everywhere. It's like all of them want to be eaten. After this ridiculous scene, one of the scouts hears a baby crying. And what do? They of course go check on it. And it turns out to be a giant baby titan. Now you might be thinking that this shouldn't be possible since titans don't have any reproductive organs, and you're probably right, because this shouldn't be possible. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy reviewing these movies for my silly little YouTube video. From this point on, most of the movie is shot in a blue and black tint. There's this another big bruh moment which isn't memed enough. This dude throws an entire titan. That's right, he just picks up a titan and throws it. That's not even the craziest thing he does in the movie. He does something even more insane in the second one. Then we're introduced to Walmart version of Captain Levi. I'll not even get into why they didn't just call him Levi, but I heard that Hollywood is trying to make another AOT live action. And if they want another actor for Levi... See, I may not have the looks, but you can learn to act. But you can learn to be short, now can you? Mikasa again just flat out ignores Eren. Eren and Jean have a small fight, and I hate to admit it, but that kick is pretty badass. Mikasa is still ignoring Eren, and when he confronts her about it, she says that she was nearly eaten by a titan, and it was Shikishima who saved her. The first movie tries really hard to force this romantic tension between Shikishima, Eren, and Mikasa, but after seeing them share an apple like that, it even puts Discord admins calling someone their kitten to shame.
Hello, kitten.
Cockblocked Eren does the exact same thing that I do whenever I see Attack on Titan spoilers on Twitter. Hey, you should follow me there. Just when Eren is about to scream, he is stopped by this character, who in her words, and I quote, has a kid and signed up to the Survey Corps for child support. It would have been a really sad story if it weren't for her trying to force Eren to have with her. But before they could do anything, she gets swallowed up by a titan. Titans have already found the new hideout and killed several members of the Survey Corps. And one of them is this couple who have a complete episode based on their relationship. And trust me when I tell you this, I really don't want to talk about that episode. Seeing all this destruction, Eren jumps into battle with his ODM gear, and just like in the anime, he does nothing except for fly around in it before getting gaslit by Sakashima to fly right into all the Titans. While trying to save Armin, he sacrifices himself. Inside the Titan's stomach, he finds a woman who was trying to... with him. And the fact that he got no bitches makes him really angry. Unlike the anime where the sheer hopelessness and the inability to keep his promise pushes him off the edge, in this movie, it was just the sex.
Hey man, nice to meet you, I'm Chris. Hey Chris, I'm Arnie. Nice to meet you. Do you watch hentai?
He transforms into a Titan using the practical effects used in the movie. I think it's time to talk about how the Titans are actually made. According to my research, this method is called hybrid, where they combine practical tokusatsu and combine it with digital effects. To those who don't know, the live action was directed by Shinji Higuchi. The man is basically known for all the best kaiju films. Tokusatsu effects have miniatures of the set, and shoot it in a way that the digital effects only complement the practical effects, rather than it being the other way around. Mr. Soda seems to know something, and Eren is about to attack Mikasa, but he loses his consciousness and Mr. Soda tells Mikasa to cut his nape open. She does it, and Eren falls out. Also, Tsukishima was watching the whole thing go down.
Fortnite Battle Pass. I just shit out my ass.
We see someone who I'm assuming to be Grisha for the very first time, and he seems to be injecting Eren with the Titan serum. But unlike the anime, Eren does not transform into a Titan and eat him. No. Both Eren's mom and dad are killed by the present commander. Because apparently, Grisha broke some kind of law by owning a lot of books. In the present timeline, an emergency meeting is called to discuss Eren's recent sussy behavior. Eren is tied to a pole and a little trial takes place. The commander wants Eren dead and they have a semi-decent conversation about what it means to be human. Armin actually tries to stand up for Eren, but Mikasa is still standing on the sidelines and does nothing to help. Mr. Soda steps in and starts saying some really big science words, which basically boil down to, Eren not strong, Titan instinct stronger. But before he could finish, he's shot by the commander. It seems like Mr. Soda wanted to tell Eren about his older brother, but he dies. The roof breaks in and another Titan kills some of the soldiers and abducts Eren. Eren wakes up in a dystopian white room in the middle of nowhere with The End of the World by Skeeter Davids playing in the background. And fun fact, it was the same song used in the recent Marvel's best movie, The Eternals. He meets Sakashima, who tells Eren the secret of the world by showing him some archived footages. These footage show that the Titans were human experiments who were supposed to be used as weapons, but something went wrong and the whole plan backfired, destroying the world. Okay, let me tell everything that I like about this segment before I go on my long rant. 1. This is probably the very first time I've ever seen a Dutch tilt being used the right way in a live action. I really loved the production behind the archive footage and also the fact that they included videos of people turning into Titans from other countries, because most live actions are just based in Japan. We see Eren wakes up on a hard floor, but after all the footage is done, we see both Eren and Sakashima on a sand floor. That was just a tiny nitpick, but just like I mentioned earlier, this movie also has the problem of showing and not telling. I did not need to physically see that the Titans have destroyed the world. Sakashima just telling it to Eren would have kept both the characters and the viewers questioning the credibility of his story. Hey, but that's just my opinion though. But plot-wise, wouldn't the government destroy all the remains of the old world? So why would they have such incriminating evidence in the first place where anyone can find it? Next, I think 90% of the people can relate when I say none of us could have guessed the amount of twists in the original anime or the manga. The original always kept me on my toes, always enhancing the story and making it more complex rather than sticking to mediocrity. One Piece is my favorite anime of all time, and I can tell you right now, Luffy will become the Pirate King, and I'm not calling One Piece predictable, I'm just saying it follows a format. But in Attack on Titan, none of us expected Eren to have such a huge change in his personality, or him turning into an absolute Sigma male. All I'm saying is that the movie just dilutes the complexity of the story, making it government bad. We already have a ton of shows and movies where the characters are trying to escape an enclosure, like Maze Runner, The Promised Neverland. That's the kind of worms I'm saving for another video. What makes Attack on Titan stand out is its well-executed plot and the amount of foreshadowing. The story is really at its best in the second or the third rewatch of the show, where you can clearly see all the hidden details which you might have missed. Season 1 asks most of the questions, and Season 4 answers most of them in the most beautiful way possible. Rant over. Sakashima also explains that it was the government that planned the whole Titan invasion, because they felt it was necessary for the newer generation to fear the Titans and never even dared to think about what's outside the walls. He also says that he's been waiting for Eren for a long time, and says that Eren is the chosen one who will help him put an end to all of this. There's this tiny scene where Eren has to drink champagne, and just for a split second you can see the actor break character. You can clearly see him giving a cheeky smile, knowing what Eren's actor has to do. Just goes to show, no matter how the movie turned out, they at least had fun making it. Also, Sakashima had a few more allies on his side with the weaponry that we used before the Titan War. The others are trying to use the bomb that we saw in the first movie to plug the wall. They put the thing on the truck and meet Eren and Sakashima on the way. And this is where Sakashima reveals his true plans. It was to destroy the second wall and to disrupt the government and take over as the new leaders. Eren disagrees, of course, and tries fighting him, but gets absolutely fucking wrecked. Like seriously, this man just did not show him any mercy.
Richard! Oh, wow! Wow!
Sakashima
Just smacked the out of me.
As always, Mikasa is standing in the fucking sidelines doing nothing. While Eren is getting his ass handed to him, the others try helping. And that's when my guy Shanagi steps in and pulls an entire building down, while about 6 people are shooting him. And you all thought the Titan scene was ridiculous. And to no one's surprise, Sakashima turns out to be the armored Titan. You know what, I actually really like the Titan transformation, but they had to ruin it with this sound effect. Suddenly, Mikasa gives a shit now. She wears the scarf and fights the armored Titan. Eren tries to join, but he gets absolutely obliterated. This leads to his Titan transformation. It's actually a well choreographed battle, and even the behind the scenes stuff looks really good. Eren finishes off the armored titan with the same satisfying kick he used on Jean. Next, they place the bomb in the right place using Eren's help. The commander shows up and he turns out to be the colossal titan. Eren even tries to fight him with his ODM gear and we all know how that goes. All hope seems to be lost until Hanji uses a fucking RPG.
Susan, it's not a real rocket launcher, okay?
And then our boy Sakashima shows up and now he wants to help Eren. He takes the bomb and shoves it into the colossal titan's mouth, killing both himself and the commander. He also says, "Have good years ahead of you, Eren." This leads me to believe that he was the brother that Mr. Soda was talking about. The question is, how was he able to turn into a titan? If he was Grisha's son, where was he born? Cause I don't think he could have been born outside the walls like Zeke. How is the commander able to turn into a titan? There's so many questions that are left unanswered and the movie ends with a hole being plugged and both Eren and Mikasa seeing the ocean. That would have been an acceptable ending, but the director went ahead and put this in the fucking end credits. I think that's supposed to be sequel bait. Trust me, it's been 7 years and absolutely no one has been waiting for the answer. But I do wonder that if they make the third movie, who these two voices could be. They mentioned 2 people escaping the experimental area. Was it the commander in Sakashima or Eren or Mikasa? Maybe no one is dead at all and all of this was just an experiment to test evolution. I don't know, but it seems really interesting. You can really see that I'm trying my best to put off speaking about the miniseries, huh? Attack on Titan Smoke Signal to Fight Back is a 3-episode miniseries set 10 months before the present events. All of the episodes have different storylines and don't have any involvement with the main characters like Eren, Armin, Mikasa or Sakashima. It focuses mainly on Hanji, Sasha and Fukushi and Lil, the couple from part 1. Each episode expands the story by a little bit, trying to flesh them out as characters. The episode focuses mainly on Hanji and the creation of the ODM gear. The whole plot of the episode was that Sanji was secretly researching Titan anatomy and is trying to find the best way to kill them. It's just like the Sunny and Bean episode from the anime. We also are introduced to one of the new characters, Izaru, and it's unfortunate that we don't see more of him. He was actually a good supporting character with some pretty cool scenes. Was that a fucking JoJo's reference? This episode has some slapstick humor and is a pretty mediocre episode. I'd place it at watchable.
It's not fireworks!
The second episode focuses on Sasha as our main character, and you know what that means? A whole episode of her just eating potatoes.
I think it'll be a fun idea to eat a piece of raw potato every time Sasha is hungry or eating something.
I tried making them look appetizing, but yeah.
The episode begins with Sasha waking up and immediately grabbing a potato.
Bro, this must be a record. We're just a minute in and she's already eating something. It did not taste good.
I think both the movies and the miniseries are filmed in third person, but for some reason the director thought it was a good idea to have the point of view of the dog.
Why do we have a dog POV?
The dog doesn't seem to want the potato, so she eats it. She goes out for a run with the dog and she's already hungry.
Guys, it's been 5 minutes and she's already eaten potatoes 4 times. This is not even funny anymore, dude. The writers just gave up. They just didn't want to try anything. Let's give Sasha some good character moments and let's just make her useful. Potato. Potato? Potato. 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 Potato.
Back home, both her aunt and uncle are planning to send her to repair the walls to earn some quick cash.
I'm not an archery expert or something, but can a bow do that? There's no fucking way a bow can bend, right? There's no way a bow can bend mid-air. No fucking way, dude. Okay, I just did my fucking research. I'm dumb. Bows can do that.
After a successful hunt, she and her hunter friends are trying to return home. But the Titan invasion has already started and the dog starts running away. In a state of shock, she completely forgets about the dog and rushes back home to help her aunt and uncle escape. She later tries to go back for the dog but is stopped by the hunters. There's a moment time skip and we see Sasha training using her ODM gear. She fails miserably, of course, and when the coach tries asking her to do better, she offers him half a potato.
No fucking way. They just spoiled another scene from the anime.
She's hungry again, but this time spots a new guy trying to fiddle with their food resources. She tries to complain about it, but no one believes her. The camp is now suffering from a food shortage, and Sasha takes it upon herself to find the culprits, which leads to probably one of the funniest scenes in the live action. After this beautifully shot scene of Sasha cosplaying as Batman, what do you know, she finds the food thieves, and it turns out they were stealing the food to feed their dogs, and Sasha lets them go. The next day, she is still really hungry, and that's when Armin pops up and hands her 2 potatoes.
Bruh, only if it were that easy.
That was a pretty okay episode, probably the best out of all of them.
You know, throughout the episode I was wondering how many times can you eat a raw potato and not get bored of it? But then I remembered British cuisine is a thing.
Oi mate, do you want a cuppa and some mashed potatoes?
Fuck my life, dude. What am I even doing?
Probably the most boring episode, I'm just gonna skim through it. Lil and Fukushi like each other and they both are really good at fighting. Fukushi gets hurt and is being treated by the women. Lil does not like it. She gives out an open invitation that the first one to kiss her gets to marry her. After a dumb fucking battle, Fukushi kisses her. That was it. That was the plot of the whole show. Now, there were some funny scenes like her being able to pull off the Robin face IRL, and the hand-to-hand combat in this episode was really good. But all of it is thrown under the bus when they decided to have these 2 huge metallic humanoids and this scene. This could have been such an incredible opportunity for the production department to answer some real questions, like Tsukushima's backstory, or the answer to how Tsukushima and the commander were able to turn into titans, or Eren's father's backstory. It's just wasted potential. It's obvious that they ran out of budget by the end of the show. My question is, why did you even bother making the miniseries? It's not relevant to the story, so it just doesn't make sense to pump out a show.
I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch.
The Attack on Titan live action does not hold a candle to the original material it was based on. Even as a standalone movie, it has a lot of plot holes. No character was likable or complex like in the manga. But instead of just cutting out parts from the original, they just add so much new material that it actually distracts you from what made the actual manga or the anime good. Eren is basically Nawastaka who is tired of living behind the colossal walls, instead of the aggressive kid with some sociopathic tendencies.
I hate these walls.
Eren's arc is basically just trying to win back the girl. Fucking simp. It makes him look like a loser. What makes this character originally interesting was the fact that he was a traumatized kid who was too full of himself, who eventually crosses the lines of his humanity and morality. It may not be the friendliest role model that you'll ever see from a hero, but rather makes him a more realistic one. I don't think the movie deserves all the hate it gets. When you see some of the behind the scenes and the making of the movie, you see that there was a lot of effort and love put into it. But that doesn't change the fact that it was made and distributed as an Attack on Titan live action. This wasn't some movie which just happened to have Titans in it. When you market it to the original fans of the series, they all have set a bar of quality, looking at you, One Piece live action. And if it doesn't match it, then they start despising the movie. The Attack on Titan live action may have just been way too ambitious for its own good. This was going up against the most popular anime of all time, at least at the time of recording this, and failed in a spectacular way. Just like how 77 plus 33 is not 100, good actors and decent VFX doesn't always guarantee a phenomenal movie.